Why not?
Because there are always two perspectives, the legal and the ethical, because something that you do may influence someone else and may put him in a difficult position.
Yes?
Because the right is just the list of the guidelines which you are advised to take in case of a specific situation. However, every person should evaluate situation based on ethics and values and decide if the right should be exercised or not, if it's the right thing to do.
Can anybody give me an example where something you have the right to do, but it's not right to do it?
For example, I'm a chemical engineer and I'm thinking to build a chemical plant. And I'm between Canada and India. In Canada there are strict environmental regulations, but in India I have cheap labor, I have very loose environmental regulations. So I say, okay, I'll build it in India, I'll put little kids to work. So I have the right to do it.
But it's not the right thing to do.
Yes.
But what is the right thing to do in this case?
To do it in Canada, pay more money.
No, because you need, let's say India needs
exactly.
jobs more than Canada needs. What do? You build it?
You build
You build in India and apply the right regulations.
You apply the Canadian regulations.
the Canadian regulations.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I can tell you an example. A former president said, personally, and I don't belong in any party, so I don't mind talking about everybody. The former president was asked, what do you think about the deputy attorney general charging the state 17,000 euro for his teeth? And what the president answered? If he has the right, they asked him, is it right what he did? And he answered, if he has the right, it's right. If he's entitled, it is right. This is very important because this is throughout our society, and this is part of our problem as a society. It's not just the president who said it. All of us often we behave as if when we have a right to do something, it is the right thing. And that's not right. The fact that we have a right does not make the right. I'll give you an example. Let's suppose Angelos. Angelos is an employee, in my company. He started working many years ago. When he started working in my company, he had plenty of black hair, So you remember, when he so hard in my company, he lost most of his hair. For the past 20 years, he worked hard in the company. He was an excellent employee. But the last 2-3 months, he's not performing. He's absent-minded, he makes mistakes, he's not productive. So I said to him, I don't need him. There's plenty of unemployed people today, I can get somebody else and do it with less salary actually. So what I do? I look at the law says I have to send him 2 warnings. So I send him a warning and I say, if you don't shape up, I will consider firing. No change. Send him another one, no change. Okay. Angelos, give you the pink slip, go home. Okay, this is totally legal, right? Is it ethical? What would have been the ethical thing to do in this case?
Have a discussion with them about it? Investigate.
Investigate, find out, show some empathy, show some compassion. Maybe he has some health problems, maybe someone is his own family. Maybe he has some problem with his wife, his girlfriend, whatever. Let's talk to him, let's see, maybe something bothers him. Let's sit down, talk to him, see whether we can offer him assistance, maybe give him some time off, put him in some other position, try to help out, right? That's the ethical thing. Given the fact that for 20 years he was producing, he was very diligent, okay? It's a different thing if I just hired him yesterday and we worked for a month and now he suddenly is not producing. You have a moral obligation, there's a relationship. Okay, so you understand what is legal is not always illegal. Okay, and the fact that you have the right to do something, i.e. is legal, doesn't mean that it's the right thing to do. Okay, so this was your introduction. So now you need some break. Okay, you want something to say?
Yeah, later.
Oh, say it. You can't wait for a minute.
I'm thinking, we say you're a CEO.
Yes.
At what point do ethics come in the way of shareholder interest and in the future, maybe your job?
Of course they come. Why not? This is the shareholders' interest. As a
Do
CEO...
ethics contradict to the shareholder's interest?
No. There are two theories. There is the shareholder theory of the firm, which is the American view, and there is the continental, the European, there is the American British, which is the shareholder theory, which says that the firm, the company belongs to the shareholders. The rest of the stakeholders are just servants of the shareholders. If being nice to the rest of the stakeholders serve the interests of the shareholders, then we are nice to the other stakeholders. If not, we are not. This is there because that theory says that the only bottom line is maximization of the shareholder value. The other view, which is the continental European and Japanese view, says no, you have to take into account all the stakeholders' interests. Of course, the shareholder is the number one stakeholder, and the shareholder must make a profit, because a company that doesn't generate a profit is no good for anybody. But that has to be balanced against the interests of the other stakeholders as well. The other stakeholders, they are not simply instruments in shareholder maximization. Yes, they are in part instruments of shareholder maximization, but they also have their own intrinsic value, right? People are not like machines. This machine has only intrinsic, it has only instrumental value in education, right? The same thing is only instrumental value. You and I have both instrumental value in education, but we also have intrinsic value. We are people. We feel pain, we feel pleasure, we have purpose, we have dreams. This thing doesn't have dreams, doesn't have purpose, doesn't have feelings, right? So we have to distinguish between people and machines or objects. Okay. So, but the British American view doesn't recognize that. They say that employees are just, and all the other stakeholders are all in the interest, serving the interests of the shareholders, shareholder organization. We, of course, don't accept that view, but we are going to discuss those things.
There's a reasonable reason to view that at the end of the day, taking care of a larger number of stakeholders in the long term is better for the company.
Of course.
Say, for example, whether you are a good employer gives you practically a good name, and you can hire the best names.
Absolutely.
Whether you pay your providers or not.
Absolutely. You are going to see all that stuff. In the shareholder theory, it goes more for the short term. You take a long-term perspective, the long haul, then a stakeholder theory is better. But again, shareholders, remember, is the number one stakeholder. You cannot be running a company that doesn't make profits. But you don't just go for shareholder or profit maximization single-mindedly and you forget about everything else. You have to balance also the interests of the others, the environment, the community, the employees, the customers, the suppliers, the distributors, all these, even the conveyors. You cannot just, in order to maximize shareholder value, you spy on the conveyors, or you badmouth the conveyors, or try to destroy them in order to maximize shareholder value. You have to do it in an honest, competitive way. Yes, of course, the conveyors, you compete, but you compete above the board. You don't compete with strategies that are disruptive or deceitful or things like that. Okay, guys, why don't we just put the lights on and take a 15 minutes break?